Welcome to P2. P2 Corporate Reporting. My name is Martin Jones and I am here to talk to you about P2 and corporate reporting. As you can see from what we have up there in the slide, I'm going to present you with an introduction to the subject, give you a bit of a flavour for P2. Before I go any further at all, I'm just going to tell you why corporate reporting, what that means. Company, shareholders, company communicates to the shareholders. That's corporate reporting. In fact, when we say shareholders, we can say stakeholders. Any stakeholder, any communication that comes out of a company and reports to stakeholders is corporate reporting. The spine of corporate reporting, as you might imagine, is financial reporting, and therefore corporate reporting comes out of paper F7 financial reporting. But corporate reporting is bigger than that. Okay, so enough said. Let's have a look at the next slide. What is P2 all about? Well, as I've briefly mentioned, corporate reporting is all about corporate reporting. But more specifically, let's have a look. It is a financial reporting paper. It's testing understanding and judgment. The technical content of P2 is more challenging than F7. Whereas in F7 you have very basic financial instruments. At P2 you have the more advanced financial instruments. Whereas at F7 you have very simple changes in group relationships like acquisition. Here at P2 we have much more sophisticated changes in group relationships such as acquisitions, disposals and changes in equity ownership. Yes, it's true. P2 is technically more difficult than F7, but the main difference between P2 and basic financial reporting papers is the way that it's examined. It's examining the understanding and judgment as regards financial reporting. It's all about understanding, analysing, application. It's all about these things, and that's what really makes the difference. It's not so much the technical differences that makes P2 what it is. It's an analytical paper, a highly analytical paper. It's all about what you can say and how you can communicate rather than so much about what you know. So what's it about? It's about analysing a situation and providing sensible solutions. Absolutely, you do not need to give the examiner's answer. In other financial reporting papers, for example F7, you do. You've got to be doing the the examiner's written the answer and your answer's got to look like his. It's not at all like that at P2. It's much more like the other strategic papers, like for example P3 and P1, where there's a scenario and there's different ways of looking at it. It's all about how you analyse the scenario rather than exactly what you say. And it does require an application of the knowledge. I think the level of knowledge is really not all that high at all. You don't really need to know a great deal of detail about lease accounting, but you definitely do need to know how it works and be able to analyse someone who's confused as regards lease accounting and set them on the right track. There you go. That's what P2 is all about. So what's up next? Well, here's the corporate reporting syllabus area, and it's not particularly useful in giving you a flavour of what P2 is all about. In fact, it might take you in the wrong direction. It's very, very difficult for the ACCA to divide corporate reporting up into buckets. And what they've come up with is this. And it doesn't really in any way reflect what actually corporate reporting is all about. But nevertheless, it is what it is, so I'll go through it quite quickly. The paper has professional ethics going right through the spine. There's 125 marks for P2, and all 125 marks are all about professional ethics. They're all about you being professional and analysing. The financial reporting framework the financial reporting framework is a technical document. It's the concepts behind the whole of financial reporting. And again, everything that you do in financial reporting is based upon the framework, and therefore effectively the exam has the financial reporting framework going right through the spine. The real core, the financial reporting itself, is in C and D. C, reporting financial performance, that's all the international financial reporting standards. That's the accounting. So that's the leases, the segmental reporting, the deferred tax, the revenue recognition, the income statement and balance sheet presentation. It's all of that sort of stuff. It's everything basically as regards accounting. And superimposed upon the basic accounting is groups. So group accounting, which is all about parent, subsidiary and associate. Absolutely. That's where the real body of knowledge takes place. And you use your A and B, your professional ethics and your understanding of concepts, to do C and D. So they're not separate things, they're not separate subjects. They're all part of the same idea, which is corporate reporting. Specialised entities, the examiner interprets this essentially as meaning every time that he writes a question, he's going to produce a scenario. And the scenario will have the story of a company. The company will do something. For example, just to take question 3, just for an example, just to take question 3 of June 2010, that was a question called Cell Tech. So June 2010, question 3, Cell Tech. The company, what it was doing was buying and selling edible oils, sunflower oil, olive oil for frying food and so on. That's what it did. So that was its industry. And the question was about how to account for financial instruments within that entity. But the truth of the matter is it wasn't really about an edible oil company. It was about financial instrument accounting. So, specialised entities, that's the way the examiner interprets it. So specialised entities, basically to the examiner, means that every time he tells you a story, he'll put the story into a kind of make-believe real company, and you will do the financial reporting within that specialised industry. It doesn't mean you actually have to know anything about edible oils or about the education business or about television. But if you set a question as regards television, he'll get you doing maybe leases in a television company. It's, still leases, but it's in a television company. That's essentially where the examiner interprets specialised entities.